Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Just so serious a minute ago. Good morning, Dr. Patty. You know how to ginger my morning. Good morning, Ayo. Looking radiant.
Thank you.
Yellow.
I love the fact that the change of seats hasn't changed Dr.
At
Patty's
all.
introduction.
Why would it? I would never do that. Mimbai, I will continue to call you what? My favorite Nigerian. You know, I have coconut head. They said that about me already. But you know I love you and I love that.
Because
you are,
place.
of course,
yes.
always from a good place. Yes. It's nice to have you.
Yes,
always.
It's great to be here.
Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday reacted to the power outage that plunged the northern region of Nigeria into darkness last week, according to the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga. The president is saddened by the reports of vandalism and willful destruction of power infrastructure and other public assets that caused the blackout, and is now leading efforts to end the disruption that has paralyzed social and economic activities. Northern traders in the frozen food industry have lost their goods due to no electricity for over a week.
Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter. Come on, they suffer. Bosa, gunshot in the air. Nigeria jaga jaga, everything scatter. Come on, they suffer. Bosa, gunshot in the air. Nigeria jaga, everything scatter. Come on, they suffer. Bosa, gunshot in the air.
I cannot imagine what these traders are going through. Not just the traders, schools, hospitals. It is insane. Let me take some reactions. This is from Malam, who wrote, "As we entered the ninth day of forceful blackout in northern Nigeria, patients are dying in hospitals due to no alternative provided to cover up the gap of electricity. Our people are in danger of losing their lives. Please, save North, restore light, save lives." He went further to write, "I am a welder. Due to the forceful blackout in northern Nigeria, my business has closed for 7 days now. No light. I can't afford to be spending 15,000 naira on petrol every day. I have no choice than to remain jobless until electricity is restored. Please save North. Reconnect our light." Well, Peter Obi took to Twitter, has also reacted. He wrote, "The continued power outages in many parts of the country, particularly in the northern and eastern states, as well as south-south states, have remained a cause of grievous concern. This power crisis, when combined with the present high cost of petroleum products and a harsh operating environment, remains a lethal recipe for widespread business failure and increasing poverty in the country. I have consistently maintained that solving Nigeria's power and energy crisis is not rocket science. Many of our comparable peer nations have demonstrated how possible it is to provide sustainable power for their citizens. Our African neighbor, Egypt, for example, invested aggressively in their power sector, which resulted in the establishment of a sustainable power infrastructure by way of many power stations. Today, Egypt has revolutionized power and energy production in the country, providing sustainable power to millions of small businesses, which account for over 90% of active enterprises in the country and contributes to over 80% of their GDP. My sincere thoughts are with everyone enduring these tough times in our nation." Well, the president has summoned the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and relevant agencies to speed up the pace of work to restore electricity in all the affected states in the north.
Fixing a transmission line, within 3 days to 5 days, we should finish. That is when you work under standard temperature and pressure, STP, when there are no security threats, when you are sure of your safety in the area. Why it has escalated to this level is because we've not been able to guarantee security of lives of those that will work there. But Mr. President has assured me that he has also instructed the NSA, the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Air Staff to provide the required security for the people that will fix the demolished line.
All right, Ayo, I mean, some of the reasons attributed to this power outage was, the issue of vandalism. I'll take one more reaction and I'll come to you for your comment. This is from Jafar, who wrote, "The vandalization of 300 kV Shiroro power towers is a new twist to the security challenges in the country. The government has made a crisis communication blunder by telling the world that the terrorists are capable of grounding the nation in a crisis situation. The saying goes, truth should be the first casualty. What about blaming a faulty turbine, low water level, or turnaround maintenance while strenuous efforts are being made to rectify the towers, destroying a critical power artery that gives life to our social infrastructure is akin to holding the nation to ransom. What is more important now is not only fixing the lines, but safeguarding them from further attacks. I suggest the government should mount thermal cameras at the towers to monitor movements around the area and also consider establishing an agency for the protection of critical national infrastructure." That was an apt tweet from Jafar.
That's very stiff punishment for
Yes.
anyone found liable or culpable of destroying national assets. We've seen this too many times. If it's not the power infrastructure, it is railway infrastructure. We see people stealing even the iron rods used
Yes.
on bridges to, for culverts. So we have a lot of people, it's a myriad of issues, and I'm glad that he highlighted it. The minister also did say that beyond the vandalism is also how old the infrastructure is, that is as old as 50 years. And so if you cannot expect to have optimum performance from infrastructure that is dead, that, literally dead. And also, we also have a maintenance culture issue, which we talk about a lot. So we can have, this infrastructure is meant to last for a long length of time if they are properly managed, properly maintained. But we know what happens. You give a contract, you install a facility, and then it's forgotten, long gone, until it rots, it's no longer working, and we see what's happened. Now this brings to the impact or the consequence of mismanagement, if I can put it that way. Look at the people suffering. That song played was apt.
Absolutely.
That is the poor man, unfortunately, that keeps suffering in Nigeria. People who are already struggling to make ends meet in their, small businesses to try and feed their family, feed themselves under the very harsh climate we find ourselves, had to face further losses. It's double loss for them. Number one, the loss of income from selling this, and then the loss of the actual cost price of these items. It is very sad. And if you see on X and a lot of social media platforms, many of them have come out to complain about, number one, it's not sustainable to run a business, a small business in particular, with petrol, by powering your generator with petrol. How much is the cost of petrol? In the north, it's probably higher because of transportation costs from the center, 1,500 naira per litre. How many people can survive on that? It is disheartening, it is sad,
Yes.
and it plunges people further into poverty. We don't need to see that now. So I'm glad that the president has come out to say that they must look for a long-term solution, not just a short-term solution to this unfortunate issue of power in Nigeria.
Absolutely. I mean, the northern states have been going through a whole lot. Only yesterday, the Northern, Governors Forum, they all met and they talked about, the marginalization in the north. And we have been raising these concerns, especially even the out-of-school children, where about 70% of the children that are out of school are in the north. Vimbai, in another development, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's daughter, Folashade Tinubu Ojo, has been appointed as ambassador for the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education. This announcement was made by Mohammed Idris, the Commission's Executive Secretary, during a visit to Tinubu Ojo's Lagos residence. Idris expressed concern over the plight of Almajiris, who he said have been brainwashed into begging, terrorism, banditry, and other social vices. Well, we're going to hold Folashade Tinubu Ojo, the Yaloja General of Lagos, to account. On this particular issue, I think it's a great, addition to, helping these out-of-school children. Your thoughts on her appointment?
Well, I think we need to understand the nature of this ambassadorial appointment. I certainly would have preferred a situation where, if this is what she's passionate about, if she could have volunteered herself and, declared that this is her cause that she would like to lend her voice and her resources to. But, if it's now an appointment, there are questions around around that. The questions are, what was the process of regarding vetting candidates for this appointment? Is she the best qualified person for this ambassadorial role? And we're seeing more and more of the first family in different arenas, which under normal circumstances is not a bad thing at all. But like I said, I hope this is a ceremonial ambassadorial role where she won't be, taking a salary from the agency or from the state coffers. I hope that it's a role that, it's a philanthropic role, because I don't think at this point in time anybody will take too kindly to the first family being given political appointments. It's in bad taste, and that's not where the nation is right now. I don't think that's where democracy should ever be, to be honest with you. And I think she also has her hands full as a Iyaloja. She deals with market women. It's a very heavy responsibility, because those women, there's a lot of them, they're critical to our economy. So I hope she actually has the time to manage all these multiple responsibilities.
Our favorite Niger wife, you hit the nail on the head. I hope it's not, it has to be a philanthropic role, because it's not at this time that we need money taken out of our coffers. But the issue of out-of-school children is a grave issue, is a big issue. And if money has to be taken, it should be, because it is such an important aspect of our future. We'll take another story. A viral CCTV footage showing a man who is believed to be a lawyer and manager at PricewaterhouseCoopers in a heated argument with his wife over suspected infidelity has set social media abuzz. In the video, the man was heard shouting, throwing objects, and threatening to smash his wife with a flower vase. He began the abuse in front of his 2 daughters. Let's take a look at that video before we come back for a discussion. All right, Dr. Abate, it feels like more and more we're seeing more, violence, or violent stories that are being, circulated on social media. If it's not the beating of children, it's the beating of teachers. Yeah. Now we're seeing abuse of spouses as well as abuse of children, because that is an absolute abuse of children. You should never hit anyone in front of your children. Dr. Abate.
Okay, violence of any sort is not to be tolerated in society. This is the whole objective of the enabling law in this regard. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015, which was assented to by President Goodluck Jonathan at the time. And violence within the purview of that act is defined as either physical, material, psychological. So in every respect, it's not acceptable. This, again, is, the video that has been shown. Yes. The gentleman's name, I think, is Mabamoku. That's, I think, the name I saw. I think that's the name, So, domestic violence. And this is very common. A lot of families go through this trauma. The children are dragged into it, and then they get affected, either psychologically or so. But, in Lagos State, if this event occurred in Lagos State, Mrs. Mabamoku has recourse to an agency. The Lagos State government has an agency called the Lagos Domestic Violence Agency.
Yes.
ESBA.
We can take up the matter and come to the rescue or the defense of Mrs. Mabamoku. But even beyond that, is how the family is affected. A married woman in her husband's house, being brutalized, and she was saying, I will call my father. I will call my father. I mean, no father would like that kind of thing. You spend money on these girls, send them to school, and then some character from wherever, no matter how he was brought up, will start beating your daughter. I mean, I think parents don't like that. But if you flip it also, he's just lucky that he has a wife that he can raise his hand against and act like he's a man. Some wives don't take nonsense. You raise your hand like this, they will beat you to pop.
Correct.
No, some women they beat.
They beat they beat.
Some women they beat. But whether it's the wife that is beating the husband or the husband that is beating the wife, I don't think it's it's acceptable. Nobody should be turned into a punching bag.
Absolutely.
In any relationship.
Absolutely.
After all, love brought the two of you together. It's love that should win.
Love should always win. Violence should not be tolerated at all. Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command on Monday arrested Ikwechegh, a member of the House of Representatives, who in a viral video assaulted a Bolt driver. In a statement, the FCT police spokesperson said the command is investigating the matter and expressed grave concern at Ikwechegh's dismissive attitude towards the office of the Inspector General of Police with his utterances, which they say demonstrates a troubling disregard for the authority of law enforcement.
I can make this man to disappear in the whole Nigeria and nothing will happen. Can you imagine this rat? I'm not going to give this boy 1 naira of my money. No. I'm not going to give this silly boy 1 naira of my money.
You've been insulting me, and I'm being quiet.
I pray that you do. I pray that you insult me. Can you please insult me? I'm not going to call my policemen to beat you up. I will beat you up. I will show you that I'm a big brother to you. I will slap the hell out of you and I will lie you down, lock you in my generator house. You know who I am? How dare you?
Are you slapping me, sir?
You see this place? You suffer. I'll deal with you.
Are you slapping me, sir?
I just did. Slap me back.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you?
All right, so this is where I am. I just got 3 slaps from this man here, just because I told him to come and get his stuff and pay me my money. So he's claiming that
Tell them, my name is Honorable Ikwechegh. I'm a member of the House of Reps. Tell them I slapped you.
Okay.
Call the Inspector General of Police. Call him, let him come.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Record me very well.
All right. That's nice.
You came to my house to disrespect me?
I didn't disrespect you. I said pay me my money and let me leave.
Come on, give me that phone.
Member of the House of Reps. I mean, this man is the audacity. We played this video yesterday. I mean, this is what we see here. But I believe he has apologized. But, a lot of users on social media have even complained about the fact that why is it that there are so many different, arms to this House of Rep, whether it's federal, whether it's state? Let me take this tweet from Master G, who wrote, I think it's time to scrap the Federal House of Representatives and add their functions to that of the state houses. They are simply double stamping the functions of the Senate House. It will save us time and money. Those reps in the state houses need more engagement. They absolutely need, because it looks like this man has nothing to do other than slapping a Bolt driver. Again, like I said, he did apologize, and I'll read a part of his statement, if we can pull that up quickly. And I think this part of his statement was what I wanted to highlight. He wrote, committed to change. I'm taking immediate steps to address the underlying issues that led to this incident. I am seeking professional counseling to ensure that such behavior never happens again. Additionally, I will be engaging in community service initiatives focused on promoting respect, empathy, and understanding. Call to action. I urge all Nigerians to join me in promoting a culture of respect, tolerance, and understanding. We must work together to build a society where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Thank you for your understanding, and I hope that you will join me on this journey towards healing and growth. Sincerely, Honorable. I mean, I thought that was an honorable state. I hope He's honest. I mean, because this is the sort of thing that you want to hear after, you know, you make such a grave mistake. Our pastor, why are you smiling like this? I don't know why. Yes, go ahead. Why are you smiling?
While I understand, and I'm all for forgiveness and letting go, but I think we need to make examples of certain people.
Yes.
I'm glad that the party he belongs to, ABGA, have released a statement condemning his actions and saying that they're going to set up a disciplinary committee to investigate and, you know, and then see if he's guilty, then they will mete out appropriate punishment. I do think that we've seen one too many incidents like this, and especially as you're saying that we're seeing more, and I don't think it's because it's gone more, it's become more. It's because social media has now highlighted a lot of these things. If that Bolt driver didn't record the altercation, it would be his word against his, and it would have just gone scot-free. And that's probably what has happened in the past, where you know, people in his position have used their power and influence to oppress those who don't have as much, and then get away with it. I mean, even look at the way he was, I mean, if you hear the way he was speaking like he said, you will go missing and nothing will happen.
Do you know who I am?
Yes, and then he apologized to the IG of police because the statement he made was almost disparaging to the office of the IG, saying you can call the IG. I do think, yes, he must go. He should go through the counseling. Everyone can be rehabilitated. But we need to make examples to show that we zero tolerance to this kind of behavior. We've seen it one too many times. And if you can make one example, maybe before you do it, you will think twice before you behave in this such a manner.
Dr. Bate, I wanted your comment on this story.
You know, there was a similar incident in Britain. I think the MP's name is Amesbury.
Yes.
You know, he beat somebody up. Immediately, his party suspended him as a member of parliament. Now, the syndrome we have here in Nigeria is the big man syndrome. Look at how that Alex was sounding. Do you know who I am? Go and call the Inspector General of Police. People just get power drunk because they've been given an opportunity to serve. They don't understand the meaning of service. And the young man was saying, you just slapped me. He said, I will slap you again. Record me. Nothing will happen. You know, this kind of delusion. I think people in public positions should be punished for it. So I don't think the apology by the fellow, I'm even finding it difficult to address him as honorable. I don't think it goes far enough. Because we should begin to recall persons like this. Yeah. The people of Abia North, Abia South Federal Constituency that he represents should see this as very embarrassing to them, that they have sent to the National Assembly somebody who has no modicum of sense or decorum and will behave like this in a manner that will embarrass them. If we make an example of one or two of them and we record them from Parliament, that is how there will be a deterrence. Anybody can write an apology letter. It's not enough. He's old enough to know, you know, how to conduct himself and not oppress somebody that he thinks is of a lower class, you know, to him.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said, Dr. Bate.
And he was even boasting, I can call my policemen to come and deal with you. Right. You see what they do with these policemen. That's why he doesn't even respect the Inspector General of Police.
And that's why they were furious about it. And they, you know, they arrested him. But, you know, we're going to follow up on the story and we'll find out what the actual causes.
For 3 hours. I think that's the limit.
Well, all right.
After that, he can go and bring his lawyer.
All right. We'll follow up on the story.
Nobody is above the law.
Yes, we'll follow up on the story. Meanwhile, tragedy occurred in Enugu State on Monday after a man died in an accident after a vehicle inspection officer chased a tricycle and lost control, leading to a collision in Okpara Square. Let's take a look.
Because make una dey see them, PGIO. Actually, most of them man. Look at this man, he has killed somebody. The other one don't run. How you cause that bogo kwaso? It's on everybody. You go para square here na
This was completely needless. A man died in this VIO chase. What were we talking about the other day? A man stripped naked when they seized his motorcycle. And then there's this confirmation or, you know, these House of Rep members pushing for even guns. I mean, look at no gun and this man died.
You know, Oji, this is so heart-wrenching because, normally we see the videos where, especially FRSC, when they're dragging with people for the steering wheel and so forth, and usually it's crews and we laugh about it and we joke about it, but this is what actually happens. And when we highlight it, when we talk about all of these things, normally, people think that, we're blowing things out of proportion and so forth, but these are the real issues. This was needless, absolutely needless. What could possibly have been the crime that, his punishment should be death? Death penalty because of a road infraction. So it's really unfortunate, and there just needs to be a restoration of discipline. There need to be corruption needs to be weeded out when we look at road safety, because it all comes down to corruption at the end of the day. Because if you tip them, they'll leave you alone. What kind of a culture is that? And now this is what it's led to. How much is the tip anyway that they would have wanted for the infraction? Because we know that it was not really in the interest of trying to preserve law and order. And mostly it comes down to corruption, which is unfortunate.
Absolutely. Well, we're calling on the Enugu state government, the governor, to look into this. And we know we need some sort of response to this incident which occurred yesterday. May the gentleman's soul rest in peace. Well, in Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Monday received a student of Oriwu Senior Local College, Abdulaziz Abdurrahman, who became the one-day governor and overall winner of the 20th edition of the Spelling Bee competition at Lagos House in Marina. Sanwo-Olu also received the one-day deputy governor, Okise Wanu, who is a student of Ansaruddin Senior Grammar School in Badagry, and Saeed Alimot Odere, the one-day secretary to the state government, a student at Jubilee Model Senior Grammar School. The Lagos State Governor made the announcement in a post on X. Don't you just love these feel-good stories? Ayo, your state governor is always doing the Lord's work. Quick comment before we end.
Very quick. So people might wonder why he's wearing the Asiwaju cap. It's because the one-day state governor actually started during the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu tenure. It's a legacy project of his wife, at the time First Lady of Lagos State, Remi Tinubu, who was the founder of the New Era Foundation. And so this has continued. I'm glad to see that subsequent governors have continued this. It's such a big deal to the students after winning a spelling bee. So congratulations. They actually get the paraphernalia of the office. They meet, with the state executive and have the opportunity to actually have that power to legislate, like one of them said, over millions of Lagosians in one day. And so I'm really glad it's continued, and kudos to governors who continue to support education and students in Lagos State.
Absolutely. Such a feel-good story, and congratulations to all the winners. Well, before we end what's trending today, let us highlight another philanthropist, award-winning actor Idris Elba, who recently announced his plans to relocate to Africa within the next decade as part of his plans to support the continent's movie industry in our Good News report. Well, British actor Idris Elba has revealed his intention to relocate to Africa within the next decade, citing his desire to support and contribute to the continent's film industry. The actor, whose mother is from Ghana and father from Sierra Leone, revealed in a recent BBC interview that he sees himself living across various parts of Africa, including Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Zanzibar, and is committed to going where the stories are being told. Elba is also a philanthropist working with his wife, Sabrina Elba, to support sustainable farming in Africa through partnerships with organizations like Farm Africa. He's a DJ known as DJ Big Drills and has produced several tracks combining his music and acting careers. Idris Elba has won prestigious awards, including a Golden Globe for Best Actor in a miniseries for his role in Luther in 2012. In September, Elba was announced to be a cast as Okonkwo in a new TV series adaptation of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, sparking a debate among Nigerians.
I'm here to bolster the film industry. That is a 10-year process. I won't be able to do that from overseas. I need to be on continent. I'm looking at a Pan-African way of looking. So I'm going to live in Accra, I'm going to live in Freetown, I'm going to live in Zanzibar. I'm going to try and go where they are telling stories to make a film here in my studios in Accra one day. That's my exciting project. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
All right, a well-rounded philanthropist, Dr. Vati. Quickly, 30
well,
seconds.
We can only thank Idris Elba for remembering home.
Always.
And home is a very important category.
Yeah.
And saying, more importantly, that Africa has to tell his own story.
Absolutely.
And he's one of us. He doesn't have identity crisis.
No.
His mom is from Ghana. His father is from Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
You know, and he played the Mandela.
Yes.
He's going to play Okonkwo.
Yes.
So there's that connection.
All right.
It's his own way of giving back.
Love
to
it.
tell the African story.
Love it. Well, as
So
always.
it's commendable.
As always, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis on what's trending today. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.